Dear friends, today we are dealing with the fundamental theorem of calculus. Here we are going to establish a connection which exists between integration and differentiation. The relationship between the two processes is somewhat analogous to that which holds between squaring and taking the square root. That is, if you square a number 2, 2 square is 4. Again when you take the square root of 4, you are going to get the same 2 again. So, integration is some process in which we are doing something analogous to squaring and finding its square root, means the relation between integration and differentiation is like that. You know that the square of a number is always a positive. So, when you take the square root also we take the positive number usually. Then taking the positive square root of the result, we get the original number back. Similarly, if we operate on a continuous function f by integration, we get a function in such a manner that we get a new function in which we are establishing that new function to be an indefinite integral of f, which when differentiated you will get the original function small f. So, for example, let us take a bus which is moving on a straight line with velocity small v is equal to f of t, a function of t, within the time interval t is equal to a to t is equal to b. In the previous section, we were seeing that the displacement of the bus during the time interval closed interval a b, that is a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b. It is given by displacement, the formula it is equal to delta d is equal to integral a to b f of t dt, that is displacement is having that formula. Now, we are taking a function let y is equal to capital F of t be the position of the bus at the time small t. Velocity, the formula is dy by dt. So, you will get capital F of x can be small f of t can be written as capital F dash of t, that is capital F is called the antiderivative of f. Actually, the displacement is equal to the final position minus initial position. So, we will get displacement delta d, it is equal to capital F of b minus capital F of a, that you can write it as equation number 2. So, from the two equations you can write integral a to b small f of t dt is the same as equal to capital F of b minus capital F of a, where this capital F is called the antiderivative of f. So, when we are saying about this equality is named as the fundamental theorem of calculus. So, you can say that this fundamental theorem of calculus expresses the integral in terms of an antiderivative and which is established by the key link between the differentiation and integration. Now, next the fundamental theorem of calculus. What does the theorem tell? So, this was the background of the theorem. Now, we are going for the theorem actually. What is the theorem? Suppose that capital F, it is a differentiable function on closed interval a b, and that you are getting the function it is integrable on closed interval a b. Then integral a to b capital F dash of x dx. So, f dash of the function is integrable and capital F is differentiable. So, you are getting the final value equal to capital F of b minus capital F of a. Now, when we are having like this, you can say that in other words, if f is integrable on closed interval a b and it has an antiderivative capital F. So, small f is the integrable function. So, you have the antiderivative capital F, then integral a to b small f of x dx, the value equal to capital F of b minus capital F of a. This is a very base theorem in the integration and differentiation calculus. So, how will you prove this theorem? For proof, suppose that the function capital F is differentiable everywhere on closed interval a b. means capital F dash you can find, and capital F dash is written as small f. It is integrable on closed interval a b. Now, we are going to define g to be a step function which is below f on closed interval a b. Since g is a step function which is lying below f, there exists a partition, means a set of points x naught, x1, etc., xn of closed interval a b, such that the value g of x, it is equal to small k I which is less than or equal to f of x for all x which is belonging to the interval xi minus 1 xi, means you are partitioning the interval into small points, you are getting the value. Just as the previous cases, you can say that the sum, lower sum for f, capital L is denoted as the lower sum. It is equal to integral a to b the function g of x dx. It is equal to sigma I equals 1 to n k I into delta xi, the summation value. In a similar manner, you can say that for I is equal to 1 to n, since the function is differentiable on the interval xi minus 1 xi, k I is equal to small f, it is equal to capital F dash for all x belonging to xi minus 1 xi. So, by the first consequence of the mean value theorem which we have learned, the younger classes you have learned mean value theorem, f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a is equal to some differential integration or f dash of c, like that. So, you can say here k I, the value is less than or equal to capital F of xi minus capital F of xi minus 1 divided by xi minus 1 for every I is equal to 1, 2, 3 etc. up to n. So, small k I into delta xi means xi minus 1 is less than or equal to capital F of xi minus capital f of xi minus 1 for every I is equal to 1 to n. So, you can say that the lower sum capital L equals sigma I equals 1 to n k I delta xi. It is less than or equal to this value sigma I is equal to 1 to n capital F of xi minus f of xi minus 1. In the next page, you can see that the right hand side of the above inequality means the telescoping sums, that is f of xn minus f of x naught, that is the same as f of b minus f of a. So, you are getting capital L less than or equal to f of b minus f of a. Just now we are seeing about a step function which is lying below f of closed interval a b, but now we are going to see a step function which is above f of closed interval a b. So, if you are taking the step function h, in the usual case you will get h is a step function which is lying above f. The similar case you can say there is another set of partition points a equals y naught, y1 etc. yn, it is equal to b of the closed interval a b. Then you can find h of x to be equal to mi value which is greater than or equal to f of x for all x belonging to yi minus 1 yi the interval. Now, the upper sum denoted by capital U for f, it is given by capital U is equal to integral a to b h of x dx, that is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to n small mi delta yi. Now, in the next page you can see that for each I equals 1, 2, 3 etc. n, since capital F is differentiable on yi minus 1 yi, small f is equal to capital F dash of x, general case for all x belonging to yi minus 1 yi, just as the previous case by the first consequence of the mean value theorem, capital F of yi minus capital F of yi minus 1 whole divided by yi minus 1 is less than or equal to small mi. Capital F of yi minus capital F of yi minus 1 is less than or equal to small mi into yi minus 1 is equal to mi into delta yi for all i's from 1 to n. So, sigma when you are taking on both sides I equals 1 to n capital F of yi minus capital F of yi minus 1, it is less than or equal to sigma I equals 1 to n small mi into delta yi, it is the same as equal to capital U. So, you can see that here the left hand side of the above inequality, it is a telescoping sum y f of yn minus f of y naught, that is f of b minus f of a. So, you will get again f of b minus f of a is less than or equal to capital U. So, from 1 and 2 capital L s less than or equal to f of b minus f of a, which is less than or equal to capital U. L and U, they are arbitrary lower and upper sums for small f on closed interval a b. The above inequality is true for all lower sums, all upper sums for small f on closed interval a b. So, the definition of the integral of f over the closed interval a b, we will get integral a to b f of x dx, that is equal to f of b minus f of a. Again you can say this as integral a to b capital F dash of x dx, that is equal to f of b minus f of a. So, the proof of the fundamental theorem is complete by this. So, you can, I hope that you have learned, you have understood what do you mean by this fundamental theorem and how we will get the proof. This is a very important concept in mathematics regarding calculus. So, we will see in the next class. Thank you friends.